Title: Divine Encounter. Opening scene: The unsettling moment. Lagos, Nigeria, a dimly lit street, 10:45 p.m. I had never seen a man break down like that. Bob sat on the sidewalk, his back against the wall of a closed pharmacy. His shirt was rumpled, his face buried in his palms. The streetlight above flickered weakly, casting shadows over his trembling frame. I stood across the road, watching. This was the same man who used to give without hesitation. The man who walked into our local booker and paid for strangers' meals. The man whose smile reassured even when he said little. Now, he was a wreck. His phone lay beside him, screen cracked. I had overheard him earlier, arguing with someone, his bank, maybe. His landlord. The desperation in his voice had been raw. And then, he did something I never expected. He looked up at the sky, his eyes glistening under the flickering light. And in a voice so broken it sent chills down my spine, he whispered, "God, if you are real, help me. I have nothing left." I don't know why, but something about that moment made me shiver. It felt like something, was listening. And that was the night everything changed for Bob. Scene 2, The Breaking Point. Outside same street, night. I watched from my small kiosk across the road, pretending to arrange gala and soft drinks. But my eyes kept drifting back to Bob. A car zoomed past, splashing dirty water near his feet. He didn't flinch. He just sat there, staring into the night like a man who had lost everything. Then, slowly, he picked up his phone and dialed a number. His voice was shaky. "Bob." Softly, almost ashamed. "Hello. Favor, it's me. Favor." His girlfriend. I had seen them together before, her laugh was always warm, her presence a light in any room. But lately, she had stopped coming around. I couldn't hear her response, but I saw Bob's shoulders drop. "Bob." Whispering, broken. "Please, I just need someone to talk to." A long pause. His grip on the phone tightened. Then, he exhaled and nodded slightly. Bob said, "I understand." The call ended. His last hope gone. I expected him to curse, to throw the phone, to break down in loud sobs. But he just sat there, staring at nothing. That's when I knew Bob had reached the end. And somehow, deep inside me, I felt like something was about to happen. Something none of us could explain. Scene 3, A Stranger in the Night. Outside same street, moments later. I was about to close my kiosk when I saw him, a tall man in a simple white kaftan walking towards Bob. He moved with a quiet confidence, like someone who knew exactly where he was going. Bob didn't notice him at first. The man stopped right in front of him. The stranger. Calm, yet firm, said, "You've given so much. Now, it's your turn to receive." Bob looked up, startled. I stepped closer, pretending to adjust my display, but really, I was eavesdropping. "Bob." Tired, skeptical, asked, "Who are you?" The man smiled. The stranger replied, "Someone who was sent to remind you, God has not forgotten you." Bob let out a bitter chuckle. And said, "God. If he cared, would I be sitting here with nothing?" The stranger bent down to Bob's level. Then whispered, "What if I told you that everything you've lost was preparing you for something greater?" Bob shook his head. "Bob. I don't have time for riddles, sir." The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, folded piece of paper. He pressed it into Bob's hand. "Go to this address tomorrow morning. Don't ask questions. Just go." Bob hesitated. He looked down at the paper, then back up. The man was gone. I blinked. He had been right there, just a second ago. How could he disappear like that? Bob stood up slowly, staring down at the address in his hand. For the first time that night, there was something in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Hope. And that was the beginning of everything. Subscribe for more.